Hello everybody, this is my first Puzzles and Dragons video. Thank you for watching. I'm going to teach you orb trick number 1, and this is what I call the hook. It's a very simple move, and it's just the motion of a circle, and you'll see soon enough. But when you watch a lot of people play Puzzles and Dragons, you'll see that a lot of players use this move. But today it's my goal to show you different patterns that appear on the board, and hopefully when you see these patterns when you play your game, your Puzzles and Dragons, you look at the board and you see, oh yeah, this is a time where I could use the hook. So I'm going to go ahead and load up Endless Corridor, and I'm going to grab a friend, and then we can start learning about the hook. So let me go ahead and pick my friend and I'll show you. Okay, so I've chosen my friend, and let's go ahead and hop right in. This is my primary team, by the way, and I do a lot of descents, so hopefully in the future I can show you how I use my raw team. But for now, let's go ahead and hop right in, and let me explain to you the motion on the board. It's pretty much a little circle. On the board it looks like a square, but you know, when we use our stylus or our finger, it's just a simple circle. So when we look on the board, there are a lot of examples where you can use the hook, and the simplest one is when you see 3 orbs that are kind of staggered like that. So usually when people see this pattern, they can go straight through to line up the blues. So if I grab this pink, I can go straight through and it'll line up the blues there. But with the orb trick we're going to manipulate it from the other side of the blues. So we can come from the bottom and go through. But to manipulate from the other side, we have to use a hook. So let's say if I grab this purple here, we do that hook into the middle color and it'll switch. It'll kind of push that pink out, and then it'll create a little row for you. And you know, that's the basic motion, and you'll see it everywhere on the board. You know, when you start playing Puzzles and Dragons yourself, you'll see that staggered motion or that staggered formation, and then you can use the little hook to do it. So let me show you as another example here. So from the opposite direction, I've set up, you know, purples here. This is where you can just use another hook. You know, you can definitely come in from this side, but sometimes you're not given that option and you have to manipulate it from the other side. So you know what I do? I can grab the pink here and I can just move counterclockwise into the formation, or I can go from the red side and I can use a clockwise formation. So it's just that simple of a motion. Here I have a great example of when to use a hook. If you look at the top row, we have greens here and we kind of have a purple here, and using the hook draws out that purple and, you know, pulls that green into that top row here. So you know, when we come in from, let's say, this side, we can use a hook towards the middle and it'll line up both the green and the purple. So when you see this pattern on the board when you play Puzzles and Dragons, you can definitely use this hook to switch up a color from inside the staggered formation out, and then, you know, whatever's outside of that you can draw inwards. So sometimes when you're playing Puzzles and Dragons, you'll run into a formation where all you have to do is just switch the middle 2 orbs. And I have 4 examples here on the board. So if you look here, on the top left I have, you know, pink and purple. Top right, you know, I have these 6 and these 6 here, the bottom right. And the bottom left I have these orbs sitting in this kind of formation. All you have to do when you're manipulating your orb, you just come in and then you kind of just do the hook to line up the red up here. So for this example, I'm going to go ahead, line it up, and come out. And you can come in from any angle. It's really interesting when you start thinking about, you know, what angle you can approach by, you know, to using the hook. So from here, I could come in from the side. Before we came in from the bottom and did a hook, right? We can also come in from the side. So if I wanted to match the bottom left, I can actually come in from the side, do a hook, and come out. So it's pretty simple. You can also come in, you know, from a different angle. So let's say we want to line up these. You can actually just come in from the purple side, line up the yellows, and come out. Okay, so we've been setting up the board to where you can manipulate the middle orb using a hook, but you can actually use the hook to match orbs that are on the side here. So if you look at the corners, each of the corners I have green, pink, purple, and blue. You can actually use the hook to draw out that green and match the blue, or like the color that you need on each corner. So let's say we're matching orbs from the inside of the board here, and we want to, line up the pink, the green, the blue, and the purple. All you have to do is just do a hook into that color, and I'll show you at each different angle. We'll do it all in one go here. So you do a hook here, a hook here, hook here, and a hook here. So that's another example of where we can use the hook. Okay, so let's look at some advanced examples, shall we? So I mean, when you look at the pattern so far, you're like, man, this is too easy, Tyler. Let's look at something more difficult. So I have a few examples on the board, or patterns on the board, where you'll want to use two hooks, and it took me a while to figure this out, but I think it'd be a very helpful trick to learn. So if you look on the board, the corners again, we have yellows, greens, pinks, and reds. This is an example where you can use two sets of hooks to push the colors into the top and the bottom. So you'll want to come in from this angle, from this side here. So you'll know that on the top right we have greens. If we're manipulating orbs, we want to come in from this side, and then we want to go into the green. So from the yellow side, we want to start doing hooks into the yellow here, and we're going to do a series of two hooks from the bottom. We'll go into the red, and I'm going to do this all in one motion. So let's go ahead and start. So I'm going to start from the top left, and we'll go ahead and do a series of two hooks. And hopefully this is a more advanced technique that you haven't seen before, but I have one more after this. So let's go ahead and start here. So there's two here, and we'll go from here, and from here, and from here. So there's just a series of two hooks, and that's kind of more to me, an advanced way of performing the hook. Okay, so let's work on the second advanced trick. It's where you manipulate a whole row of orbs, and you can move them up or down depending on where you need it. Sometimes when you're manipulating orbs and you're trying to generate, a huge combo, or for my example, when I play raw, sometimes I have to move orbs and compact them into a corner, and I'll have to match a row of orbs, and then I have to either move it up or move it down using a series of hooks. So over here I have a row of blues that I'm going to make for you, and then I'm going to move it downwards using what I used before, which is kind of just like big rectangles. So let's go ahead and do that. So when I was here, I just use a series of rectangles to move that row of blues downwards, but you can also use a couple of hooks, and I feel like it's a little bit faster. So let me go ahead and line up these purples here, and then you just do a series of hooks to move it downwards. And you can do the same if you want to move it upwards. For example, if I match these reds, then I could do a series of hooks, let's see, like that. And so I feel like it's just a little bit faster method of kind of manipulating a row of orbs. And you can do that, for vertical, it works the same way. So if we have vertical pink, then you kind of do a couple of hooks, and you can move things to the side. Okay, so we've gone through quite a few examples. Hopefully this video has helped you out, but if you have any questions, or if you'd like to comment, please leave a message and I'll get back to you on it. But thank you for your time on watching this video, and hopefully I'll make more for you guys. But until next time, have fun.